Hey everybody, it is Chris Clark with discgolf.law. We're going to do a series of videos where we answer questions that people have sent us or placed in the comments on our videos. Today's question comes from Daren Ladd. And Daren had a question about the video that we did on the MVP Overmold and the intellectual property strategy that MVP is using to protect their MVP Overmold. The questions that Daren had, one was, how are other companies using an Overmold if MVP has the patent on it? Daren also asked, what if injection molds have the ability to alter the density of injections without using an overmold? Would that process or technology violate MVP's patent? And when does MVP's patent expire? First, let's talk a minute about what a patent is and how you get a patent. Then I'll address Daren's questions specifically. Please understand, I am not a registered patent attorney. Being a registered patent attorney requires you to have some technical training. You have to sit for a separate patent bar. I am not eligible to draft patent applications or practice before the patent bar. It's a highly technical area of the law. I've been practicing law for 22 years. I have worked closely with patent attorneys throughout my entire career. I have a sufficient understanding to explain to you the basics of what's going on here. Now, a patent protects an invention by allowing the inventor or whoever owns the patent, if the inventor has assigned the patent to someone, to control who uses the invention. The process begins by filing a patent application with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. In order to get a patent, you will need to meet certain elements of patentability. One element of patentability that is required: your invention must be useful. This is called the utility requirement. The item being patented has a credible, specific, and substantial purpose. So it has to be useful. Another element of patentability is what we call novelty. In other words, it must be new. The novelty requirement means that the invention was not known or used by others. The statutory bar requires that the patented item must not have already been in public use or for sale in the US for more than 1 year prior to the date that the patent application was filed. One additional element of patentability I want to touch on is non-obviousness. Patents must be non-obvious. A patent claim is non-obvious if the improvement goes beyond the predictable use of what we call prior art, sort of prior inventions in this same category. One example that I read online, somebody gets a patent on a 10-speed blender. You would not then be able to come along and invent a 12-speed blender and get a patent on that, because adding additional speeds to that invention is obvious, and so that would not meet the non-obviousness requirement. Once a patent has been issued, it is public record. You can find copies of most patents online. Patents are valid for 20 years from the filing date. Now, the key section of an issued patent is a section called the claims. The claims defined the boundaries of the invention. Therefore, they lay down what the patent does and does not cover. Sometimes you'll see someone say, oh, I have a patent on my invention, but that really doesn't mean anything until you understand exactly what is covered by the claims of that patent. So let's address Daren's specific questions about MVP. If MVP owns a patent on the overmold, then how are other companies making discs that have an overmold? So I think there's three possible answers here. The first possibility, which I think is by far the most likely, is that MVP is giving them permission to do so. And that's usually done through a patent license. You can grant someone else under certain terms and conditions the right to practice an invention under your patent. Another possibility is that other companies have analyzed MVP's patent and they've figured out a way to make discs with an overmold that don't fall within the claims of MVP's patent. I haven't taken any of these discs and sat down with MVP's patent and analyzed whether they fall within the claims or not. One thing that is not uncommon in industry is for competitors to figure out a way around the claims of a competitor's patent. So that's always a possibility that that's what happened. A third possibility is that these companies are infringing MVP's patent, and as far as we know, nothing's been done about it yet. Like I said, I think that's unlikely. I think the most likely explanation is that MVP Disc Sports, the owner of this patent, have granted permission to these other parties to make discs with an overmold. Now, regarding Daren's question about whether other companies could use some type of injection molding technology to alter the density within parts of the disc, would that violate MVP's patent? It's impossible for me to say because I haven't done that analysis, and frankly, I'm probably not qualified to do that analysis. The bottom line is, if that injection molding process falls within the claims of MVP's patent, then yes, that would be an infringement, and no, the third-party company would not be able to do that. Just based on the reading that I've done of MVP's patent, it does appear to cover the overmold technology and not specifically address that injection molding process. You would need somebody with a lot more sophisticated knowledge and understanding of this area in order to give you a for sure concrete answer. And Daren's last question was, when does MVP's patent expire? Based on my analysis and the information that I was able to obtain, it looks like MVP's patent likely expires on June 6th, 2031. That just assumes that the patent period hasn't been extended or adjusted, which is rare. In almost every case, a patent expires 20 years after the date of application, and so in MVP's case, that would be June 6th, 2031. So, will we see Overmold technology showing up on Discraft and Innova discs starting in 2032? We'll just have to wait and see for that. But we love getting your comments and questions, so feel free to keep those coming, and as we can, we will take up each one and try to make a video responding to them and answering your questions.